pleasure of trying medium Boho knotless braids on myself. This style was so fun to create, and it was not as hard as I originally thought. It took me a matter of about 8 hours to do so, and you guys get to come along with me and see how this look was created. I get to the beauty supply store and I get over to this section, and voila, like, I was so impressed with the hair selection that I had to grab it. Now let's go get that braiding hair that's gonna help make this look pop too. And look at there, y'all, under $50. Medium boho knotless braids under $50. Okay. All right, y'all, we're home. My hair has been shampooed, blow dried, and I am going to start this with pre-party, okay? Medium boho, my first time doing it on my hair. So let's pre-part these sections, and I'm going to tell y'all, I had a time at first trying to get these parts as straight as possible, and as you can see, I give myself like a grade C, but it's okay though, because practice makes perfect. So it took me a little bit under about 30 minutes to get my pre-parting going, and I was able to clean up some of my parts along the way. So I ain't mad at it. Doing your own hair, you have to improvise and see what you can see, because again, it's your own hair. So I have, just checking it out, looking to see, and I'm like, okay, let's get started here. So I got the first row done, and I'm not going to add the boho pieces to my first 2 rows, only because I do not, just to prevent any tangling, as this install is in, and it's going to be in for a minute. So, let's go ahead and part, and I'm doing the brick layer method so my braids can lay like in between one another, and it also helps the style to look fuller. And we're just going to start off braiding my natural hair, and then I'm going to add in my braiding pieces. And my strategy for my braiding pieces is 5 pieces to create the medium size box braid, or knotless braid in this case, because I'm doing no knots. So I'm adding my first 3 pieces, and here's going to be my other 2 pieces that I'm adding. Again, these first 2 rows, there is no boho pieces added. So I'm just braiding as a regular knotless braid. And in this here, just going to add, I prefer box braids because I don't have to keep feeding in the hair, but I like the medium knotless braids. I did it on my daughter's hair, and their hair came out so fire. So, I'm like, for myself, like, let me try this out. And my hand placement throughout the video, even in the back, I had to just get creative with my hand placements of how I'm adding my extensions, how I'm braiding my hair. Some was overhanded, some was underhanded. Again, I'm braiding my own hair, so I had to get creative with it. And start off here. You saw me start off that braid section with 3. So just crisscross 3 times. There go 1 piece I added. And I'm just feeding in each time that I do a cross section. 1, 2. Feed in. And 1, 2. So as I'm braiding, I have to cross that section so the extension does not fall out or slip as I'm braiding. My grip is tight. And as you see in the video here, you're going to see me cross my hand in just a moment so that I can maintain like this same braid pattern going down. And I'm pinching my braid as when I switch my hand placement. That's going to allow me to keep the same braid pattern or the as I cross over my hand so that the extension does not fall out or slip down or out as I'm braiding. So now we get to the masterpiece. I'm on my third row in the back, and I'm going to begin to add my boho pieces in this section. And I say we because it's a collective. You guys are coming along with me as I created this style. And my strategy for my boho selection is my first 3 braid extension pieces. Now here's the boho piece, and I'm going to add this piece just as if I'm braiding. It's no different than adding. However, the boho is going to be left out, so I'm going to braid down 2 times. So I still keep that method 1 2. So braid 1 2, braid down 1 2 times, and then I'm going to remove the boho piece, and I'm holding it in my mouth so that it can stay out. And then I'm adding the rest of the braid extension, which are the other 2 pieces, to still have my 5 pieces, because again, I want all my braids to be similar to the same size. And I'm adding my boho, so I had to create a strategy of when do I place my boho pieces, or where do I place my boho pieces throughout my braid section. So I found that, hey, I can add my first boho piece after I use 3 extensions, and then add the remainder of the braid extensions, and I'm braiding down. One of the strategies is I had some scissors by hand, so these little free pieces that were sticking out of my extension braid, I kind of snipped that because, again, I don't want these pieces hanging out, but that's one of the strategy. Then I'll show you another strategy that I use. This is my first time doing medium boho knotless braids on myself, so it was trial and error as I was going. And here I'm adding 1 more of the boho piece. My strategy for the first row is to add 2 boho pieces on this row. I did not want to have my boho pieces in my nape area because it's in the back of my hair, and the more I move my head around, then I'm thinking of how these pieces will get tangled in my hair or tangled along the way. And my purpose is to keep these boho medium knotless braids as long as I possibly can, so less tangling, and that was just a strategy for me to keep the boho pieces above my nape area, so I don't have to worry about it tangling too soon or too fast. So I'm going to show this process again. So there go my second, and here's my third extension piece. 1 2, and then here I'm adding my my boho strand, and 1 2, and I'm going to find my boho pieces. I'm on the back of my hair, so I'm like in my mirror, like, okay, some pieces were easy to locate and I could pull them away from the braid. Some I had a time like, where did that piece go to? But again, this was fun. My braid pattern or strategy is 1 2. I'm going to add the remainder of my extension here. Here's my 5th braid extension, and I'm going to braid down a little bit further because I want my boho pieces not too far apart, but not too close together either. So I kind of just got a feel of like, okay, where's that piece going to go? And I did add that piece here. So again, I'm just like braiding down and finding out where that piece is, where that piece at, making sure that I'm not braiding on top of any other braids or catching those boho pieces from other braids as I'm braiding down. And after a while, I got the hang of it. So when I began my boho strands and adding them, the first 2 rows of the bohos were 2 boho strands. And at the top, I added 3 strands. So that's like 3 strands per braid. Patience is virtue. So I had to have a lot of patience, my hand placements and all of that. So the back is done, y'all. I got finished with that back. And the pre-parting, let me tell y'all, pre-party helped me so much. So if you ain't doing it, I recommend and highly recommend to start the process of pre-parting. It saved me so much time because my hands were tired. Like, just the placement of where I had to put the pieces and looking. So my hand was tired after braiding, but the glory from it was like, I already got my part. So I don't have to worry about trying to part my hair, because I'm going to tell you, if I did not pre-part, you're talking about some crooked parts. And as you can see, some of my parts are a little crooked. They're not as perfect. You know, I did what I could to make it look as perfect as I possibly can. With it being my first time, I really do give myself, I give myself a high score. I give myself an A-, on this style, because my parts could have been a little bit cleaner. However, hey, there's always next time, and practice makes perfect. And with the bohos braids in and the medium braids, you really couldn't see it. Once I got finished and I looked through, I was like, okay, you can't really see my mistakes within where I did not clean up my parts. But hey, it's good. I'm just glad that I pre-parted my hair, because had I not, this would have took me way longer, double the time. Usually when I'm braiding my hair, I break down my braiding sections in at least two days, 3 sometimes, just depending on how small I make my braids. And that's how I have to do it. But I did this I did this process literally, it could have took me 1 day. But y'all, around this time, it's like 11 o'clock midnight that I'm doing this. I started my hair at like 9:30 at night. So I took the first 4 hours. I stopped at about a little bit after midnight, maybe 1 o'clock, and woke up the next morning and finished. And I was done before noon. I woke up about around 9 the next morning and got finished with it. So what you're seeing right now, 9 times out of 10, it's the next morning, because I did the back, and then I finished the top the next morning here. But yeah, had I started earlier, I would have finished this in 1 day. However, I did not. I started at night. My second strategy that I used is I put some gel product at the end of the boho when I added it and when I was braiding, and that helped eliminate me having to stop and snip. But I was doing both. I was stopping and snipping and adding the braid. And yes, I'm at the top. It's the next day. And your girl, yes, that pre-part, I'm like, I'm done. I don't have to use my entire Saturday to braid my hair. And bam, check me out. Thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, drop them comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification so you will be notified when I upload. Remember, God loves you. I love you. Smile so you can glow and grow. Be blessed, y'all.